Diaz Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Said what? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Fuck me. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Fuck you like a bad habit. Bye-ya. 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 Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You already know what it is, man. Before we get into it in a Menudo style in direct fashion, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Put the notification bell on all so you can be abreast of all the dope content that I'm bringing all week. And we're going to get straight into it. You see the thumbnail. You know what we're talking about, man. It's a controversial topic, but at the same time, in the meantime, in between time, I got questions, homie. I need answers, right? So I'm going to ask a question this time. And I think it's a question that a lot of people are thinking and wondering on, especially people from Califas that don't really know what time it is, man. Now I'm going to give the simple breakdown, the real breakdown, because it seems like there's a lot of discrepancies when it comes to this individual, man, when it comes to this story. What's true, what's not true, what is his truth, what's the real truth? Quietly as it's kept, man, in the past, I've spoken upon the situation. Don't really care for the individual as far as what charges he has. Will say he's talented. Will say that he done a lot for the Mexicano people or the Tejano people in Texas. But at the same time, man, I'm wondering why everybody rocks with this guy like a motherfucking Whisper song. They rock steady, right? You can't take nothing away from loyal people. People are loyal in the game all the time. You know, you got a lot of homeboys that maybe caught a bad case or they got done dirty or they got whacked or removed behind, you know, some bullshit politics or whatever the case may be, and you still rock with them. Albeit on the unders, you could call me on the slenders. You know what I mean? They'll call them on the slenders, but they still rock with them. They'll still break bread like Jesus said at the table with them. They'll still pick up their phone call in a needy time. That's just the way it is. That's part of the game. You know, when you have a camarada or a homeboy, a taita, he's always going to be that, man, no matter what. Unless he does you dirty, then it's a different situation. It's all scared, homie. You piss my old lady's ass, eh? I can't fuck with you, eh? But, can I borrow that wallet? You know what I mean? That's just how it is. SPM, South Park Mexican. We all know his story. For those of you that don't, refer to Megan's Law. All right, now look. This individual picked up a bad case and was accused of something else heinous. You know, and he's sitting down. He's been sitting down for 20 years plus. Concrete, straight concrete, sitting down with bad charges. Now, the state of Texas is different from the state of California. Our politics in California, the way we rock and the way we view individuals, is pretty vicious and treacherous. You get no chances. If you're accused of a bad crime, you're already looked at like you're guilty, humps. Motherfuckers ain't playing. If you go into the county with a bad charge, and you might be innocent as all innocent can be, right? With the capital I, Benza, Holmes, you better get off where you're mad at, go to the oil and fight that, Holmes. Don't take no deal, I say, because you're just as guilty as if you did that. Fight that like it ain't no fight never been done before. You got to fight that like Crawford did Spence. Straight up, beat it up, from the feet it up. Now, the state of Texas, every time the subject comes up about SPM and his charges and what he's been locked up for, there's a lot of conversation, a lot of argumentative conversation on every side. You know, the raza in Texas, rock real tough, most of them, with SPM. Maybe they know something we don't know. You know, I'm from California, homie. I don't know much about Texas politics or what they got going on or the incarceration. You know, whenever you're locked up there, the TDC, you know, I've heard of it. I got homeboys that have been there. But as far as me personally being there, I can't. So I can't sit here and say if they're leaking or they're tweaking or they got motherfuckers geeking. All I can say is they definitely are well known to handle their business. Texas is Mexicans, man. They're going to do what they does. Very structured and standoffish when it comes to other group ethnics, right? Other ethnicities, other groups. Just like anywhere else, man. They're going to do what they does. But it's always bewildered me, and I've always tripped out why they tend to back up SPM or always argue with people about SPM. Then it starts to become a California and Texas thing. Then it starts to go left to the left. Then they start to say the Cowboys are better than the Rams and the Raiders. We're not trying to hear all that, okay? Fuck Micah Parsons and SPM, as far as I'm concerned. Look, man, the truth of the matter is none of us really know. You know, I've never sat down with that individual and picked his brain, so I don't know exactly what happens. But two things I could say are for sure. One, when you're accused of the same crime, a couple different times, hey, homie, pensa la tira. Were you that major that they had to hit you on the pager twice? I understand when you're pushing a movement like Pac or, several others, Nipsey, when you got a voice, when you got a strong voice, especially in the hip hop game as a minority, there will be bigger agendas, homes, to tear you down. The setup will be real. People will put obstacles in your way because your voice is growing and you're uniting the people. See, when you're uniting the people, nobody likes that in real life. In real life, some of us may lie. I love it. So that's what I'm trying to do, right? But there's a lot that don't. They like the old ways. They like the old ways of thinking. Hey, homie, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's broke as in a motherfucking joke. It's broke, homie. But a lot of people don't tend to see it that way. I see, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. Can I be real for a minute? From what I hear from a lot of guys from Texas, their argument is that SPM was really a loud voice for the gente. That he was making waves and moves for Mexicans that have never been done before. Now, I can't deny the Vato's talent. He's talented, man. Will I sit here and bump his music daily? No. Would I have done it before he caught these cases? Probably not. Just because it's not my stilo. But it didn't mean that the Vato didn't have a voice or wasn't talented, because he definitely knew how to rap. Definitely knows how to rap. And told a great story. Now, at the same time, you could tell all these stories, Holmes. You could be the one that the people are like, that's it. He's our Pac, Holmes. He's the next one up, right? And someone's going to tear that down. Now, according to the argument on the Texas side, it was a setup. That this individual, man, never really did what he's accused of doing. Now, I could understand the whole nightclub situation. For those of you that don't know the nightclub situation, it goes kind of like that, just because the wind's blowing. That this guy went to a club, a strip club, was out there chilling, doing his thing. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You're 21, Humps, go handle your business. Been there, done that. Might do that again one day. But all I know is that when you go to handle your fucking biz, you don't know how young or how old these females are that are stripping and dancing, but you automatically assume they have to be of age to be working at a place like this. I know I would. I wouldn't even think in my wildest dreams that a chick would be 13. I don't even want to call her a chick. That's weird, right? A girl would be 13 or 14 years old working at a strip club. Where were her parents' antennas when she was running around doing this shit? Can't blame the parents, man. Shit, can you blame mine? I was running away out there trying to murk people. So you can't blame the familia, but at the same time, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. Maybe what she's seen, or maybe everything around her, Sometimes you have to be hard on your kid a little bit, man. A tough love is good love. You know what I mean? So, dispense a little, be a disciplinarian. A little discipline goes a long way. Sasuke, shut up, right? That's just it. You ain't gonna go straight. Bitch, you're only 13. You better stop that, right? Anyways, according to what the argument says on Texas side, SPM found himself tipsy, swerving off that syrup, whatever he was off of, allegedly, and finds himself in this strip club. And of course, bing, what happens? This young girl's in there stripping, and they have some type of relations, allegedly. He says he didn't know, he didn't check IDs, he couldn't tell. Now, me, myself, I don't know what's going on. I could have maybe told, I would have tell, I could tell. SPM said he couldn't tell. Baby Bash said he could tell, right? So they're camaradas. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I just know that his story is he could not tell. Anyway, she became impregnated. They had children. And there's a big myth that's going on around. I've heard it so many times. And I've even ran with it a little bit, just in a joking manner, just to cap and clown, that he was pulling up to junior high school, dropping her off. She was his baby's mama. He was dedicated. One thing I could say is, from everything I've heard, Zavato's a dedicated father, right? He loves his children. Can't take that from the man. But man, pulling up to a junior high school, a middle school, and sit with your baby mama, and you're of 20 years of age, yeah, that's a little chiruhu-ish. That's a little weirdish, right? I personally would think something's wrong with that. Make her ass take the school bus. But this Vato, according to what people have said, now I believe it's urban legend. I don't believe he was pulling up to middle schools, man. After I further analyzation and thinking about it, he would have to be a Baoso and a half shell like Turtle Power. He would have to really be thinking that he's untouchable, Holmes, to be doing this. Because there's a lot of Vatos in Texas that don't play that, just like anywhere else, Holmes. They're not playing that fucking chomo shit. I know we're not, and they're not. That's just real. So I highly doubt any of his homeboys, his tight homeboys, as good as that fucker could rap and how much money he had, was going to allow him to be having intimate relationships with a 13, 14, 15-year-old. It's just not happening, homes. That's not the way it goes down. They're not saying, oh, man, I ain't tripping. The rap's good. He could do whatever he wants. Nah, homes. Not even Michael Jackson and Tupac could do whatever the fuck they wanted. It just doesn't work like that. SPM wasn't that major. Hit me on my page. I'll let you know. But that, to me, is an urban legend, a myth. So I understand Texas's argument with that, because a lot of people in California, a lot of people around the world ran with that. Like, damn, bro. The vato was pulling up to the fucking junior high school. Not the high school. That's bad, too. That's good. That's Adam. But the vato was pulling up to the junior high school. Sounds good? That's 6th, 7th. It's you, right? I don't know. I can't call it. Anyways, what got some sitting down on concrete slabs right now is another case, man. A case that's always a despicable case that I don't even like to discuss, man, because when I seen it and heard of it, I was like, wow, this vato needs to get buried up under the fucking jail. Bury him under the counter. Black out him every chance you get. Get off where you're mad at, please. If I ever seen him, I'd slap the fucking, the orifices out of his face. This vato got accused of doing something with one of his children's young kid, but there's been a lot of mixed up stories there. I've heard stories that the little kid's family was trying to extort him, charge him money. If he didn't pay like he weighed, they were going to press these charges on him. But then again, if you already, the fact remains, man, he got a 13, 14-year-old pregnant. That's the fact. Whether it was bamboozling going on or whether his antennas were fucking crooked that day and he didn't drink his V8, whatever the case may be, and I claps to it, right? This vato did that, homes. He got a youngster pregnant. He can't take that back. Ain't no taking that back. Ain't no denying that. But at the same time, he said he was tricked, y'all. The tricks were real. The trickery dickery doc. SPM ran up the clock. The clock strike one, and he knew he was dumb, and then he was done with his cock. And that's just it. Okay? It was all bad. He did that, though. Facts. So with that, in the background, and then, of course, this new case lingering, which, at this time, the alleged victim was, I can't even say the age, it gives me Oscar. For him to even be involved in a case like this, it looked bad. I know, albeit that sometimes things look bad, they're not necessarily as bad as they are, but they do look that way. What do you think people are going to expect or think? 1 time, shame on you. 2 times, shame the fuck on you more, right? So who said it? George Bush? Can't call it. Shame, shame, shame. This individual, man, had a heavy voice and a heavy presence in the rap game for Mexicans, for brown people. We don't get much, eh? Who we got? Now we got a lot of little Chicano rappers, but before that, man, we didn't have much. We had Kid Frost, shit. Who else, man? We had Toker from Brownside and them individuals. Conejo. Shout out to respects to that vato. I love his music, right? Just a lot of different individuals. We had Toes, Go Toes out in the Bay Area pumping his 17 Reasons. We didn't have too many Mexicanos. So a Mexicano like that was mainstream, that was actually going viral, even before viral knew what viral was. We had that, it was ours. And then, of course, all this controversy in this case, we kind of swept him under the rug. At least us from California did, because we're like, fuck that cat, right? I think they're different, eh? But these vatos from Texas rock with them. Why do they back him up? From what I hear, this guy might be getting out pretty soon. Is that again? The wind might be blowing in his direction. And if he gets out, is he going to come to a theater near you? Is he welcomed, to these places? But before we get to that, let me say this. Gente, let me say this. A lot of people talk a whole lot of high power shit about vatos ain't welcome. Hey, nah, 6ix9ine ain't welcome nowhere. That vato's everywhere. That vato right now is in Brazilian getting his cat pilled by 2 different fucking Hondurans. I'm telling you right now, a lot of these people that maybe have told or caught a bad case or got some weird tendencies, man, they're everywhere. Every one of them are performing right now on stage with Grupo Firme. It's just what it is. Okay, chalk it up to the game. There's a lot more people that are not affiliated. See, we come from a class of the streets, man. A lot of the people that are watching me and a lot of people that I fuck with, we come from the streets, homie. We were either incarcerated or involved in gang violence or continue to be that, or are subject to that, or we come from a broken home or a 1-parent home or maybe a 2-parent home, but fucking one of them was off Chiva. We come from a lot of different backgrounds, yet all same, street orientated and in the mix in real life. Right, but there's a lot more people out there, millions and millions of the Guns fans that ain't never been involved in that street life. So they don't give a fuck about the politics. They don't care if there's Vato told. They don't care if there's Vato dissing Chiruju shit. They don't care. And the reason they don't care is because all they care about is good music, talent, and going out that night and having a good time and trying to get them some, you know what I mean? That's all they care is as long as she's legal. SPM. You know, that's just it. You know, motherfuckers checking IDs now. But got scanners and shit. They got diamond testers and scanners. They're trying to see that it's A1 from day one. Fuck that, right? When it comes to SPM and the people of Texas rocking with them, I understand the situation. If you're a true fan, can't no one tell you shit. I remember for years and years and years, man, couldn't no one tell me nothing about Michael. Where did you come from, babe? And oh, won't you take me there? I was moonwalking everywhere I went. I was a big Michael Jackson fan. Until I see some things that I just couldn't unsee, right? Until I was told about some things that I just couldn't be untold. And then I had to take a step back. Not because I let other people dictate my fucking program, you know, but man, the proof is in the pudding. And so I don't like Jell-O pudding pops. I'm just saying Michael did. Once you start seeing things, and you start to recognize it for what it is, you get a little bit older, you start to be like, hey man, maybe the cases and the bullshit outweighs the talent, or maybe it don't outweigh the talent, but I can only go so far in my life. You know, if I have my morals and standards that I live by, then I'm gonna have to step back one time from Mike Jack, one time. And so I did that. So I can understand these people. He's talented, he's putting on for Texas, he's putting on for the raza. A lot of people standing behind him like, nah, that's bullshit, Holmes, that's cat. That ain't real. Until something really gets presented in form or fashion in paperwork, or they get to see from in real life him touching somebody, then they're like, man, maybe I was wrong, eh? Maybe his third wish wasn't to rock the world. Maybe it was to touch a fucking 8-year-old. I don't know. But at the same time, man, that Vato definitely has bad cases on him. Now, I say that to say this. Gente, dispensa mentira. Hey, guard, I'm getting down today. Just being real. It doesn't matter, gente, if this Vato did it or he didn't do it. This jacket that he's wearing so supremely is always going to be on him. Unless he goes for an appeal, which is 20 years later. Holmes, I bet you those have been all denied, right? Let me tell you about someone who's been in the system, man. I've went through court cases, appeals, all that. I've done all that, man. You know, if there's something there, they're going to find it, eventually. I've seen Vatos Africano, brother. You seen that movie? You seen that one movie where the Vato's sitting there for 30, 40 years and then he got cleared? Eventually, man, the shit rises to the top. Eventually, the proof is in that pudding. And you will get out, man. This Vatos have plenty of appeals. He's had a lot of situations, man, where it's just, he's still sitting down. So there's more to this paperwork, more to this case than we see. You know, I'm not talking bad about the homies from Texas, man. Shout out respects to all the gente, all the raza, all the Tejanos doing their thing. Nothing but love and support for the state of Texas. You know, because I know real ones rock in a real way. In a real way. But one thing I do know for facts and for sure is people are judgmental and they're quick to judge people just based on what they hear, not necessarily what they see. And people are quick to defend people just based on where they're from and their attitude. You know, I don't give a fuck if a motherfucker's from my hometown. Holmes, if he's all bad, he's all bad. You know, I'm considered all bad. No, I ain't no weirdo. I ain't done no weird shit never in my life. No. Don't put that on my plate, man. I know some of you have tried to fucking go that route because you can't come up with your own content, but don't go that route with me. The fact remains, man, they don't like me because I don't gangbang no more. Pensa la tira. I could roll with that. You know what I mean? I have to roll with that punch. But on that weird shit, man, a lot of people are going to defend SPM, and we wonder why in California, Texas does that. It's not all of Texas, Holmes, but he does definitely got a fan base that's going to continue to rock with him until proven otherwise. You know, and I understand that. Fact is, this Vato gets out. Is he going to be performing everywhere? Are you going to support it? Do you truly believe, man, fuck that, man, that's prison stuff, whatever. You're supporting them? I'll tell you right now, I won't fucking spend a crunion, an onion, and not an onion. I ain't giving him no money. And the reason I ain't giving him none of mine, straight up, and I'm going to utilize his name to make bread. And the reason I ain't going to do that is because I feel that if for no other reason, man, there's just too many discrepancies in his story. And I believe, not personally, it doesn't matter, right? That Vato's sitting down for a righteous reason. They caught you, bro. That's it. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose, man. Shout out respects. Leave a comment, man. Let me know how you rocking, what you feel like, man. Shout out to the boys from Texas, like I said, man. Ain't no animosity, ain't no hatred, man. I believe Texas and California rock the same, homes. We need to come together like butt cheeks, man, and do our thing. Mexican OT's out there with nipples just bangling, you know what I mean? Just doing his thing. You know what it is, man. I pump him every day because he ain't catching weird cases. And that's just what that be like, man. Struggle to survive because surviving is all we have, man. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears Gunner's tight ass bull's crown, and at the same time, I'm going to continue to do what I does, man. Thank you. Support to all the Raza channels across the YouTube spectrum. I got nothing but love and respect for everyone. Those that don't like me, it's okay. I'm not liked by many, but I'm respected by all. And if you don't respect me, man, that's on you, eh? You know what I mean? You have to look in the mirror and wonder why. Can't do it like I does it. This is the gun. Bang, bang.